Hello and welcome to 2025, and to everybody out there, we wish you a happy new year. We hope you had a fantastic Christmas break, and thank you to everybody who has liked and subscribed on our videos, visited us at shows, and has also those who have bought from us at Enwins 3D Models. On the subject of Enwins 3D Models, exciting year. We're going to have the Garden Railway construction carrying on. Videos will be following on that subject. And also, we've extended our birthday bonanza sale until the 31st of January. Also, we have extended the offers to include £25 plus worth of extra value package, which not just for the sale, this is indefinitely with every Rapido locomotive bought from us. So if you say buy now during the sales, you'll be able to get a Y7 for £125, I think it is off the top of my head, plus £25 worth of extra kit. And when you're talking about a Jones Goods, that's £205 plus £25 worth of modelling extras from Enwins. So if you go to www.enwinsmodels.co.uk, you will be able to see everything is currently listed at the sales price. So though we don't have big sales splashed up, they are at the reduced price. Anyhow, moving on from us, this has been a interesting year, the last year, when you look at all the fantastic interviews we managed to get. So I thought in this video and the next video, we will look back at some of those videos. And the first one of the year, of course, was with Simon Kohler, who was very kind to invite me into his house, and we had a nice chat about the industry. And as always, Simon has a lot of interesting stuff to say. We made up 3 videos. So here are some of the highlights. First of all, Bachmann in particular, though other manufacturers as well, have made great strides with 009. Yep. Which I personally have got involved with because my connection with the narrow gauge railways of Wales. Second one is TT, which you know a little bit about. Just a bit. And also the Era 1, which I see as the danger with that, if we start with that, is that some Hornby do what they did in the way back in the Triangle years, and just did a rocket. Or just did a line, and it stops. And what Hornby have done with the latest product range is locomotion. Yes. So there's more coming down the line. There's more wagons coming.
Literally coming down the line.
Yeah. and Era 1 now becomes viable to start thinking about Era 1 layouts because there's more product. Yeah. And other manufacturers are probably, if they're not, they should be, taking a closer look because it's untapped.
Yeah, you can continue to just carry on producing, another Mallard or another Class 37, etc. You have to look, and I spend a lot of time looking at how one can expand the market. As I've said, it's very important that we get more people into the hobby.
Yeah.
But also looking for areas that people might like to focus and model on.
The W4 was a perfect example of that.
Because that did spawn other industrial locos, because it was an area that had been ignored. But it just goes to show that people have to think out of the box. And with Rocket, Rocket was great. It was there partly to celebrate Hornby's 100th anniversary, but I also thought it would lead into more Era Ones, because we did the coaches, but there were other things we could work on. Lion stroke tiger was a natural progression, and locomotion number one was when we did the rocket. We had so many emails, and I had so many emails saying, why don't you do locomotion number one? So that was an obvious one. And there are others that, of that era, which sort of, that's the start of the railways.
At home now, ticking off, what about?
Exactly.
I'm not going to mention them, but they are there.
Yeah, there will be. But it allows people then to say, do you know what, I'm going to do an Era 1 layout.
I think the Era 1 is the one era that's been pretty well ignored.
Oh yeah, it has.
And
it's because it's tricky.
Exactly. And now that the miniaturization to make a loco. I mean,
have you seen locomotion?
I saw a video this morning actually of that running, and it was glorious. But as somebody who makes models, I'm thinking, how the hell did they do that?
When I suggested it that we should do it, I literally saw the colour drain from their faces.
I can imagine.
Especially, and I was speaking to the designer. And
that's
he's
taking Wallchurch valve gear and throwing
He
it
was, a very, very accomplished designer. Yeah. Very accomplished. And how are we going to get that to do that and do that? And I tell you, I saw it today.
Yeah.
And that video, and I thought, you did it, boy.
He did, didn't he?
That is a craftsman.
That looks fabulous.
It is.
It runs well as well.
It does.
It doesn't have to run well when he makes that work, but it does. It runs well as well.
It's virtually, you see, you're on a good thing when you can get your first running samples through.
Yeah.
And you put them on the track, and if they run like that, you think, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And that's not easy. Yeah. Now, I will probably send a note because I'd just go back and say, now then, do it in TT. You think you're clever, do it in TT.
So with this model eagerly anticipated, when I got to Gaydon and spoke to Martin Weaver, I got the latest as the prototypes were first on show. The Era 1, Locomotion 1, I've seen it running here. It looks absolutely fantastic. So it's building a kind of, I've noticed amongst the people that contact me, there's more people now saying, well, hold on a minute, we're now getting to the point that there's enough locos and stock to make Era 1 layouts realistic. Yeah. So without going into products, are we going to see more Era 1, or are we just going to see a consolidation of where we are?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm not going to tell you any forward announcements, but I think the simple thing is, if something is working, then why not do more of it, or why not continue with it? And it has proved out to be a really interesting move. Again, if you were to go back in time and someone was to stand here and suggest and say, oh, we're going to do Era 1, I reckon most people would say that's a waste of time. Who's interested in that? And the reality is that I don't think people sometimes realise that they might like something until they actually get to experience it and see it. And that's what's happened with Era 1. And believe me, it's a really, really complex thing to develop because there's such little information out there. And we have a lot of work goes into actually sort of getting them accurate. And of course, these things changed over time. So it wasn't like mainstream production of locos, so it's very, very niche and difficult subject matter to do. But the models are absolutely great. And then, I'd say now, the last few shows that we've done, having worked in locomotion there, people are just going absolutely mad for it.
It's astounding the way you've actually got the motion to work is just brilliant.
And there's a guy that came here earlier, and he said, well, I couldn't have that. It wouldn't fit within my era of what I'm modelling. You think, well, I bet you in a year or two you'll look at that and think, oh, I'll have a go. Or maybe you'll see a locomotion going up a mainline railway in a year or so, and you think, well, actually, maybe I can actually put that on my modern layout. But back to your point about actual Era 1 layouts, I think that's going to be a really exciting thing to see, because to model that period of history, there's not as much information out there of what a street would look like, or what, you wouldn't have cars around or whatever else. The great thing is trees and grass and scenics have never changed. You can get that bit right. But with any figures, of course, the clothes that they're wearing, there's all these other little things that have got to come into it. So I'm very excited to see Era 1 layouts, because someone else has now got the tough job of researching it to get it accurate. Although, will we actually know if it was accurate with such little photography, if any, of that period? Does it actually give an opportunity to be more creative? Like you could do something a bit wild and someone say, that's not right, prove me wrong. You necessarily can't.
Now, this arrived a couple of days ago, and I haven't even had it out the box, let alone run it. Now, when I first saw the model, I thought, wow, the complexity of that it would take a genius to develop that, and Hornby have pulled it off. Although there have been some criticisms on the net about the way this loco runs. So, I intend to do this review with a completely open mind. But, bear in mind the complexity of the design. I have a few theories, and when I do run it, we'll see how well it runs straight out of the box. And if it isn't perfect, I have a few solutions in mind. Well, either I am extremely lucky, or that's running perfectly straight out of the box. Anyway, I am going to run that in properly. A squeak has revealed itself whilst running in backwards. time for a bit of oil. Right. Responding to the videos that I've seen, I applied a little bit of oil to the end of this screwdriver and tapped these 4 rods that go through this running board, and the squeak has gone. And it was this far one at the back where it was catching. But as you can see, so we know that this particular model is catching at the back at this rod. A little dab of very fine oil. Nothing more than the end of this very fine screwdriver. No more oil than that. So, as you saw there, Simon set it up, and that led into our interview with Martin Weaver of Hornby. And again, lots of interesting things to say. And yeah, here's a little bit more from Martin.
Then recently, people have started saying to us, well, we've had the set now for a couple of years, we're now building a layout.
Yes.
And once you've got to that stage, that's something that's embedded then, that's going to stay.
Definitely, yeah. That you've actually hit the nail on the head there. You know, some people will flirt with an idea, and when you start to hear those kinds of things of, you know, we're going to pin it down now, that's the commitment, and that's exactly what we want, and that's exactly what we thought would happen. And those things don't happen overnight. You know, you do read and hear of some people that have doubted it and criticised doing it in the first place. TT has a space in this way. It does something different to what other scales do, and you know, it isn't really there to convert existing model railway or double over to TT. That's not the objective. The objective is to bring more people in, because the more people that come into this hobby, fill the rooms like this and get some model trains, that benefits all.
Yeah.
You know, that benefits absolutely everyone. So TT is doing a great job, and we're already seeing a very high percentage of people that are modelling TT or buying TT aren't people that were in the model railway fraternity 6, 12, 18 months ago. So it's actually doing a great thing for the hobby, and that's what we wanted it to do. So we're very happy.
Well, that's the other thing as well, because with a lot of people were debunking it, and why another scale, and what, you know, why do we need another scale? What people forget is if you look outside the little bubble which is Britain, TT120 is already established.
Yes, yeah.
You're actually opening Hornby out to a European market.
Yes, no, definitely.
And that's what people forget.
Yeah.
You're actually opening up quite a bit.
Yeah, we're not really the true innovators in this one. Definitely not, and it's quite surprising. Well, it has been done before, of course, but in more recent years, it's quite surprising it hasn't happened before. And it is an amazing scale because the level of detail that you'll get for size, you know. And you mentioned about Europe. Obviously, we have European railway brands, Arnold, in our portfolio, and we already work with them on cross projects as well. You know, the recent Truax wagons came out. They weren't developed by the UK team; they were developed by the Arnold team. So we can share things to grow. They use our track, etc., etc. So yeah, there's just plenty of scope and lots to come there.
They are available on here, but these are just, I've got them on loan from most models. Let's collaborate. Well, with the website, made them for me, and then put them in his product cart, you know.
Billy says, please like and subscribe. Thank you.
And of course, whilst we were at Gaydon, we also made sure that we got a Bachmann's perspective. So here's a little bit of that.
Hello, I'm Richard Proudman, Rail Brand Manager for Bachmann Europe.
You mentioned the LNWR coaches. Take a look at them. And
yeah, of course.
talk us
So
through them.
this is our latest new tooling announcement. We've made several new tooling announcements over the last quarter. This is the last of 6, and this is our LNWR 50-foot arc roof coaches in 00 scale from Bachmann branch line. For these models, we've gone to every length to model the prototypes that were first built around the turn of the 20th century. So these are over 120 years old. So a lot of research has gone into finding historical information, documents, drawings, consulting with experts like the NWR Society, and what we have come up with we really think is something special indeed, and we hope you agree.
The pre-grouping is an area that is growing, we've noticed, and obviously it works very well with locomotives that you've already launched.
That's right, yeah, we've got LNWR coaches in our range already, or we've already produced them in previous years. Pre-grouping authentic coaches are something that are quite few and far between in 00 scale. We did the birdcage coaches for the SECR, we've done the LSWR cross-country coaches in our EFE rail brand, but these are the first time an authentic LNWR coach has been produced. So we're looking forward to seeing the reaction to these lovely new models.
Next time, not only will we reprieve the interviews and show you a little bit more from last year, but also we will have the Stirling Singles, which are in the post as I speak now. So you will get our first impressions of the Stirling Singles in the next video, a bit more of the interviews, and a little bit of what we're going to be up to in the new year.